Hey, Mike, what do Kelly Slater and PT have in common?
I don't know. They're both world champs?
Nope, they both own Endless Summer box set.
Oh my God, rad. You guys, you can get it too. The link's in the show notes. Welcome back, everybody, to Season 3 of the QuiverCast. This is Mike, your host, and this is all brought to you by YourAudioLegacy.com and QuiverBuilder.com. And please check out my other podcast, The Stinky Booties, I do with my buddy, Billy. Let's roll. Hey, everybody. This is Mike here with the QuiverCast. And today's special guest and probably starting off the new season is Cyrus Sutton. What's up, Cyrus? How are you?
What's up, Mike? How are you?
I'm good. So how's it going?
It's going good. Yeah, nearing the end of a summer here, and it's starting to rain, which has been a really hot summer. So it's a relief for all of us in terms of fire and stuff like that.
Okay, so tell everyone where you're living at.
Yeah, I live east of Portland, by a good little distance, but close enough to be able to get into town. And I've just been here for the last 6 years.
Okay, why did you come out here? And by the way, it's super beautiful. By the way, your house is so rad.
Oh, thanks, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was affordable. I got my house for under $400,000 like 6 years ago. I think it was like $380,000, and I was able to do a down payment of like maybe $20,000 that I was able to save by living in a van. And you can't get something like that down in Southern California. And I'm on a really big river that I can stand up paddle. I'm a couple hours from a lot of different spots for depending on wind direction and swell. I can get some fun waves, nothing world class or anything, but have a really fun time. And it's really beautiful along the coast. So I think that, just being able to, go out there and surf but not have it be like surrounding you every day.
Okay.
It's a nice change up. And it's, for me, it's just all about being on land and learning and growing our own food here and building and just learning all those kind of hard skills that I didn't really learn growing up in Orange County.
Okay, so let's start from the beginning. When did you start surfing and what got you into it?
My dad.
Okay.
My dad surfed in the 60s and kind of grew up going to lowers and upper trestles and hiking in during those days. And you'd have to kind of, dodge the military police and stuff.
Oh, really?
And he started surfing again. He kind of took like 15, 20 years off to go to school and became a professor of landscape architecture. And then when he had me, he was like, "Oh, I'll get back into surfing." And we were living in Fullerton, kind of near Orange, in Orange County. And that's where he grew up. And we would just go down to Sano or down to the trails. And he'd go to the nude beach area of Trail 6 because that's, everybody was like, back in the day was afraid of going there because of all the nudies. And we'd surf, south of the fence line and Camp Pendleton, and we'd walk sometimes like mile or two because he likes to surf alone.
Yeah.
And we'd go fly fishing in the summers up in the Sierras in his van, and he's still got the same Volkswagen 1978 van that he's had ever since I was born.
Right.
And just kind of, one of those old school dudes. And so he's the reason I started.
Okay.
And I remember he didn't realize that there was surf wax. So we would take candle wax in the beginning because what he did when he was a kid, he would take a paintbrush and melt the candle wax and flick it down on the board to make these super hard beads that were sharp.
Yeah.
And it would like tear at your chest and stuff. But I guess that was when they just had paraffin.
Yeah.
I remember being in the backyard. We had a little garden in Fullerton doing that. So yeah, I kind of owe it to him. And my mom lived in Long Beach. So
okay.
I was at my dad's house on the weekend surfing, and then didn't really figure it out that you could go surfing, around Seal Beach and stuff, Huntington, until probably a couple years after I started surfing.
How old are you during this whole period?
I was kind of, older for how a lot of kids surf. I think I was really into other sports, baseball. I was a pitcher, and but I think it was 12 or 11 or something. I started going. My buddy and I were boogie boarding and stuff.
All right.
Sometimes, but yeah.
With your dad or like just taking the bus?
Yeah, it's pretty much.
From Long Beach?
Yep.
Okay.
Riding bikes.
And then at what point so you were more of like a longboarder, right? Or
Yeah.
what were you riding? What kind of boards were you riding?
Well, longboarding, that's what, Seal Beach, the north side of the pier, that was what was going on. And I just saw like the Bruce Jones crew and the harbor guys like Aaron and, Tim Seneff. And those were kind of, it just looked, those waves are suited to longboarding.
No,
I mean,
for sure.
they're sheltered by islands and jetties. That's what I wanted to do because that's what looked like the most beautiful surfing when I was starting,
So what was your first board? Do you remember?
Yeah, it was a Harbor 8.6.
Sick.
Airbrush job like Ted Russell, something like that. There's some like high performance longboard guy in Longboard magazine, and I copied the airbrush.
Really?
It was a custom board. Yeah, I was riding my dad's old waterlogged, dinged up Dennis Chode. Have you heard of that guy?
Yeah, I actually have heard of him.
Yeah, he's from Malibu area.
Oh, okay.
My dad's business partner. They had like a little landscape architecture business on the side. He was a professor, but he and this guy Hirsch, who's Josh Farbrough's dad,
Okay.
had a practice, and they still do.
Okay.
So that was kind of, he got the board from Hirsch, got him back into it. Dennis was making, I think, Hirsch and Josh some boards in Malibu, and that's how he got the board.
Right. You still have that board?
I think my dad my dad saves. He doesn't buy much stuff, and he just kind of fixes everything he has. So I'm sure it's laying around somewhere.
Rad. Yeah, especially with that. And it was who shaped the heart? Was it Harbor or was it like Stamps or
Yeah,
Chaz?
no, Rich shaped it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. His boards are going to be solid. Well, now that he's passed away,
I heard about
boards
that.
are going to be. They're for sure collector's items. They were already, I think, but that's rad. You still have it.
He's such a great guy. I mean, he was such a great guy. It's kind of hard to.
Are you friends with him?
Like sink in. Yeah, so I ended up riding for Harbor.
Okay.
And we worked on some boards together and just got to spend a lot of good time with him. And yeah, the whole crew, Robert, who ran the shop, and his daughter, and obviously Tim's still a good friend. So
yeah. That's rad. You got to spend time with him.
Yeah, he's a really generous guy and just kind-hearted soul,
Okay. So did you ever get into like competitive surfing?
I did. Yeah, I was really into the NSSAs and then did like the local pro thing. And
how was that? Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I got really into it.
Okay. So tell us about that.
I mean, just everything, anything I'm focused on, I just get really into it. So I would like take these like certain electrolyte drinks before, I don't know.
So like, are you talking about like training? Or
I would train all the time. I was making a surf film, and there's these different pro surfers in it. And like my favorite longboarder, I would like go to the gym with him and see how he worked on his leg strength. And
really,
and then so I started doing that and going to the gym all the time.
You want to say his name or no?
Yeah, it was Joel Tudor.
Okay.
And I started like eating vegan, and like he was always going to the gym doing like squats on the press machines. And I was like, okay, this is what's going. And then Hunter Jocelyn had like the Indo board. You remember?
Yeah, I have one in the garage.
And so I'd train on that. And then we got these like big plumbing pipes.
Okay.
You ever see those like 2 foot, or sometimes they're like 4 foot tall plumbing pipes that they use in like commercial or in like public projects. And I went and I got a Sawzall from Home Depot and cut off one of the ends and sanded it down, and then put this like, I think it was 3M made this like grip tape, and I made like a 4 foot tall pipe with like a 6 or 7 foot long board.
Really?
And
so it's your custom like Indo board.
Yeah. And I learned that from Mikey DeTemple did it. And we were in Florida on some like old pro contest, and he had it. I think we were all just teenagers,
Okay.
And so I made one and like did it on my street all the time. And I was constantly like trying to get my balance. I don't know. It's funny.
Did it help?
I mean, sure. Yeah. It just teaches you to have like a low center of gravity and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you were doing the longer because you were riding a bigger board.
Well, no, there's the longer ones
Is it more like like harder?
Oh, yeah.
Is it?
Oh, yeah.
I wouldn't even. Yeah.
The stakes are, I mean, you could eat shit on that thing. You're way up, and the board can like, it's pretty fun.
Oh, that's rad. I didn't even think about that. Okay. So then, any successes in the competitive world? And what was your like high? Like, what was the funnest time, like heat wise or?
Oh man. Yeah, I had fun. I mean, I think the last year I finished runner up in
NSSA?
In the US Pro Tour.
Okay.
I think I was behind like Colin McPhillips or Josh Moore or something.
Okay.
But that was the year I kind of stopped really surfing, was working on like my surf film.
Okay.
And I didn't surf. I don't think I've surfed a contest. Oh, I went down to my buddy Israel has a Mexi Log Fest.
Oh, right.
So I went down there a couple of years ago, but that was the I'm 38 now. So that was, I don't know, 15 years since my last contest.
Okay.
But
So okay. So what made you stop wanting to surf contests? How did that?
Oh man.
How did that change? What changed in your life?
I just got really psyched on making films.
Okay.
And I liked being able to, because I grew up going to creative writing camps and stuff, and I also loved taking photos in the dark room at high school, and then when I found
with real film,
well, that's all they had.
Okay.
And then I found like Taylor Steele's filming with these video cameras, and this guy Travis Carrion was making like local longboard flicks. And so I was like, oh, you could get a 3-chip video, like mini DV video camera, and like it looks okay. And so I just got incredibly psyched on making films and surf films and then documentaries. And that's just kind of how everything's progressed. It's kind of, you probably like, I don't know, like that's why I'm out here. It's because I have like so many negative thing around surfing. I'm just way more psyched on farming right now. Okay. And it's just,
so that changes throughout your life. You've had different
passions.
Is it passions?
Yeah, big time. I can't not do it.
Not do whatever you're into.
Yeah.
Okay. So how does that, so you're totally into surfing, and then just kind of overnight, is it an overnight thing, or is it just kind of a gradual thing? Do you see what I'm asking?
Yeah.
Like you're surfing and you're surfing contest, and then all of a sudden you pick up this film thing or taping, or I don't know, whatever the right term is for what you're doing, making movies.
Yeah. I think it was just like, I was surfing and I was making videos, and then I moved down to San Diego when I was 20.
Okay.
And I was surfing around there, and the waves are, you live in Oceanside, the waves there's a lot of them compared to Northern Orange County.
Way better.
Yeah.
The wind's better. Everything's better.
Easing glass offs and stuff.
Totally.
So I was still surfing, and making lots of,
So you were totally into both of that at one point.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I got sponsored to surf by Reef after one of my movies came out. And
which movie? You remember?
I think it was called Stoked and Broke.
Yep. That's the big one. Yeah, that's a good one.
I was just living down the street from Ryan Birch, and he and his friends were making all these crazy boards. And so Brian and I did a little surf trip. You've seen it. Yep. So So, and then they came and said, we want to sponsor you. I thought it was a joke because I wasn't, like, my pro surfing days were, 9 years before that. Like, I wasn't really trying to, and so I said no, or I did. I was like, I don't, because they, Reef at the time was like Paul Fisher and Mick Fanning. What are you talking about? Like, I longboard, okay, but I'm not like so I think they were thinking, because like I had corduroy and I was doing all these videos and stuff, that they're like, oh, a blogger, or like an early blogger. And so, and I don't know. So I ended up kind of, getting paid pretty good money by them, which was pretty insane. Yeah. I couldn't really believe that. And it was before Instagram and,
blogging's just kind of taken off, right?
Yeah.
So you were involved in all that.
Yeah. So the corduroy was just this blog, because I went to Australia. I lived there. There's a lot that happened between there and then when I did the contest thing, and I just kind of made a film about the commercialization of pro surfing, and just kind of how it's gotten to, like, it got to be so consumerist. And I grew up in, Southern California.
In the center of it all.
Yeah. It's just selling a bunch of stuff that's, and putting an image around it. And surfing's a beautiful, kind of pure, like, unassuming thing at its core, not really tied to all the stuff going on land. It's a little tribal, which is kind of cool in some ways, but, and so I was just like, I want to make videos that are more about helping people, reuse their stuff, and to just make it cool to be scrappy and not have to be a rich kid and like have huge quivers and your parents pay for like trips to Indo, and nothing against that. I've got a lot of friends that do that, but that wasn't me. Okay. And I wasn't seeing a lot of, in Taylor Steele's videos, it was, really great surfers sponsored by big companies going to the most beautiful waves in the world
section.
Yeah. Mostly. And so I was just like, well, what about people that just shop at thrift stores and like repair their boards and, like
more of the everyday guy kind of thing?
Yeah. Go to Home Depot and make a little Pipo or, a hand plane or something. Like surfing's for everybody, and it doesn't have to be like competing over the lowest peak. It can be like a little beach break down the street or whatever, and you're getting stoked and having a blast. And so I don't know how I got started on that, but that was corduroy.
No, it's good. I'm glad you did. Actually, it's kind of insightful. It's good.
Yeah, thanks.
I like it.
Right on. So yeah, basically just, I think just traveling around and,
what did traveling teach you?
Well, I traveled a lot before then.
Okay.
I'd done documentary work but the surf trips were sort of, I mean, to be frank, it was all just super contrived. It was just like going there, getting the shot, lugging all these longboards. I mean, it sounds like the dream.
But you're working.
But you're working, and you're also kind of like popularizing these spots that, you don't want to be the guy that like blows up a spot, right? And we kind of get that now, but there's like this almost like conquest of going out to these places, and that, I don't know. A lot of times it was awesome, and the people were really amazing. And I learned that people around the world are really kind and heartfelt and genuine. And, some places they weren't so much because our government's done some things that we wouldn't appreciate if they were done to us,
Okay.
So that's understandable.
So did you learn that a different perspective about America going to these countries?
Well, yeah. I mean, I just learned that the world's a beautiful place. And I mean, the places I was going were obviously beautiful because that's the goal, right? Is to show this like beautiful image of surfing. But I mean, it was, the people are really cool. And most of the time, I really respected these cultures that weren't, that didn't really care about pro surfers or this like big corporate kind of funded thing that I was on the like spear tip of. Mm-hmm. And those ended up being the people I really related to. So I kind of thought to myself, well, how do I get closer to that in my own country, and how do I'm not like going around trying to sell shit. And I don't know. It just wore on me for a long time. And I think it kind of made it so that surfing felt, I mean, you talk to a lot of ex-pros or people that have done that kind of stuff, and it's just, I'm not trying to get a job in the surf industry, so I'm not trying to like keep up the whole thing, but it's cool, and surfing's awesome, and it gives people health and joy, and it's like transcendent. I think it's super important, as an expression. It's something I grew up doing, but I've just kind of wanted to, I don't know. I just didn't feel right. I don't know if there's anything you've ever done in your life that just didn't feel quite right, And
yeah, I don't personally. I don't know. I kind of just work and try to get some water time in.
Yeah,
but I have periods in my life where it's like I don't really feel like surfing. But there's other days when it's like everything is you're working around the house. For me personally, but the wind's right and it's hot. You just want to go in the water.
Yeah,
I don't know. So.
Well, I got paid to do it. That's totally different.
See, I'm not at the level you guys were. I'm just a regular guy.
Well, I just get so psyched on whatever I'm doing, and it just happened to be like, okay, well, I got into film stuff, and so that's
awesome.
And then the surfing stuff, I was so I'm just obsessive about whatever I do. And
is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Both.
Okay, yeah, for sure.
And so it ended up being like this all this stuff attached to it, and
you were over the attachment. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I don't know. I still like to surf, and I think I kind of want it more like you. I wanted it more like you have it, where it's something that I go do and have fun and share it with my friends, and not have it be like there's this guy doing this that's associated with something.
From my perspective, not trying to interrupt you, like I'm jealous of all you guys.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying? Like you or anybody that like Reef walks up and says, hey, "I'm going to hand you a check to go surf." So I think the majority of people look at you guys like, dude, like, drooling. They want that. They want that gig. And then
I probably sound like a spoiled bastard.
No, you don't, because I've talked to other guys and they're like kind of the same, but you guys are working hard. So from my perspective, what you're selling, we're buying. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because we're trying to live that dream, but then it's not a dream. Maybe it's not as dreamy as you think it is. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not putting words in your mouth. You tell me.
It's marketing, and
marketing,
and you're the face of the marketing, and you go out and do the things. I mean, under the sun.
Did that affect your life?
Under the Sun is all. I made a surf film, like kind of, and I think the surfers and that, like Dave Rastovich and all those guys, were more eloquent than I could be.
Yeah.
That's why I kind of like doing documentary to kind of explore things. But did it affect my life? It allowed me to buy this house.
So in a positive way.
It like made me prioritize health, where if I'd have just gone into film full on, I probably could have made a lot more money, or I could have like, if I would have just focused on making money and being, using my creative stuff to that end. But it taught me about the world. It introduced me to a lot of amazing people, and I, was able to make money and surf it. I mean, that's insane. It was awesome. But it came to a point where I just didn't really want to go on those trips anymore because, first of all, I was getting sick. I went to Cuba and Russia, and it just destroys your gut. I think of what a lot of people don't talk about that are pro surfers is like, you're going to places with untreated water, and it's just hard. It gets hard on you. And at the same time, I had another full-time job. I'd started the sunscreen company. I was still doing corduroy. I had like 6 jobs, and so
no time to sleep. Were you stressed out?
Yeah.
Overwhelmed?
So I was just like, I would surf and be outside and maintain my health. And then I would go at night and I would edit and I would write for these different jobs I'd have. And I was one of the, like masochistically working all the time. So some shit just fell away, Okay. And surfing was kind of one of those things where I looked at the corporate life I was leading. I had like, W-2 steady income, and it was pretty fun. I was working at Guayaquil Yerba Mate. I mean, it's pretty the owner had a crazy 100-acre farm in BC, and we were going to all these fun places, and I was still able to surf, and I was making all these videos and being able to pay my friends to be creative and come up with concepts. And so that just ended up being, I was more psyched on that than like, going to some place and trying to get the shots for the videos or whatever. Cause I wasn't I was doing too much. And I just like to, I don't know about you, but I just like to focus on a couple things.
Okay.
And then whatever else I do is kind of shit.
Okay. Yeah. I totally get that. Yeah. So, but do you think you would have got into filmmaking if you didn't surf? Like, it seems like that led you, or did that not lead you? You're always interested.
I've never thought about that before. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. I think,
cause you talked about like just a second ago, like if you're just a filmmaker, not a surfer, but it kind of seems like the way you're telling it, one came first and led to the second.
I think I probably would have done filmmaking because I love to write. Okay. Like I was going to creative writing camps as a kid, and I was obsessed with.
Were you like as a kid thinking you were going to be a filmmaker?
No, well, I didn't really get that you could do that.
Oh,
I just thought like,
So why are we going to creative writing? Fun?
Because I like to write.
Okay, cool. Fair enough.
Yeah.
So some of these films, are you writing ahead or are you just kind of winging it?
Writing.
Like let's say Stoked and Broke. That's the big one. I mean, that's the one I love personally. I love that movie. Was there thought into making this movie?
No, that was like the least planned out one.
Okay. Yeah.
I didn't do any research.
Made it work probably.
We were just doing a series of corduroy episodes on like how to take a no budget surf trip. Yeah. Just a funny spoof. And then we ran into that old van, that guy that lived in his van. Yeah. And I was like, whoa, that's kind of a heavy twist. And then we interviewed Richard, Kenvin, and I was like, well, maybe I could make a little film out of it. And I edited it in like 3 weeks. And
really? Yeah. Okay. And I mean, I just keep going back to that one because that's the one I've seen. I own it, so whatever. All right. But what else? Do you still doing film?
Yeah, that's what I do. I built the little studio downstairs, and I work, just make little commercials for people and pays the bills. My girlfriend in town she's a stylist, so she works with different clients, and she's brought me on some shoots, and I have old clients that I've worked with for a long time. So like
local stuff, or are you doing national or international?
Well, they're local companies, but they're international companies. They're just in Portland, Okay. And then some of the ones in California I work with. But yeah, it's just, I have a day rate, All right. I get in, I bust out, and then I just work my ass off around here.
Yeah. So let's talk about what would you call this? It's a beautiful house on, some acreage, right?
Yeah.
And what do you got? What's your goal?
I don't know. Just to make it a place that can feed me and my future family, and getting close, we're going to try to grow most or all of our own food pretty soon, and got animals and trees and veggie, all kinds of vines and all food producing things.
Walk in the house, you fed us. I mean, you gave us pretty much a good snack. Right? You gave us, a lot about how you learn this as you go.
I got really interested. Well, my dad's a landscape architect,
right.
And
so you kind of had
was a homesteader in the 60s. I grew up with a big garden. I built edible gardens for people in San Diego when I was in my early 20s. And I've been just, buying this place was like it happened after a lot of thought and wanting to get on land and grow food.
Okay.
For at least a decade.
So it's kind of a dream that's coming true.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're just going to keep going. Dude, you got a good thing going. So I'm stoked for you right now.
Oh, thanks.
And then, so let's tell the story of how I'm even here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So you want to tell it or you want me to tell it?
You can tell it. I've been talking too much.
No, this is the interview for you. So you're stoking me out. Short version, my wife sees, we're heading up here to move my daughter to Portland, and we see it on Instagram that Cyrus, his dog, is kind of stranded. Is that the right word?
I would call it that.
Yeah, kind of stuck in Tahoe. And Katie, she has a podcast too.
Yeah.
It's called The Common Stitch. Is her car's broken down. So we see it and we just kind of talk to Cyrus and we charge Tahoe, pick up Bubba, and then head up to Washington. So here we are today. So it was super fun. Like a total adventure. I don't know why. I was like, all right, we got to do this.
It was incredible. It was a blast from the past because when I was growing up, we were surfing together.
Yeah.
And
so I've known Cyrus since Seal Beach days.
Since I was a Grom. And then we haven't probably spoken in at least 25
I think I said hi to you during the incident of Stoke and Broke.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
And then I think I saw you at Cardiff Campgrounds once or twice.
Yeah.
Just randomly walking.
But even that was 15 years ago.
Yeah, at least.
And so, Mike and Danielle completely rerouted and went all the way to Tahoe on the other side of the Sierras and came up here and did me the most incredible solid.
Yeah, but it was so fun. It really was kind of fun. We even looked at each other. We're like, are we doing this? And my wife's like, yeah, I think we need to do this. For whatever reason. And yeah, it worked out.
Yeah, so. You guys rule. I loved how you just took it as an adventure and as it comes. Yeah. I'm super grateful.
Yeah, I'm hitting a midlife crisis thing going on or something. I don't know. But it was fun. So here we are today. And anything else you want to talk about?
I think we covered it, right? The surfing, the filmmaking, the being on the land here. What's
your future? Do you know the future? Or you just kind of, of course, the house and the farming. That's right in itself. Do you have anything else in the future? You see goals?
Well, it's kind of hard to make goals these days. Things are changing pretty quickly, isn't it?
Okay, yeah, for sure. Are you talking COVID wise or just society? Or?
Yeah, just COVID, and it's just it just seems like things are getting shaken up. I don't know. I think
that's for sure.
I used to be a real planner.
I
was real intense about life. I was just like, okay, I'm going to do this and then do this. And
okay. So you had a notebook written down with what you did, what you had to do.
Or just, I'm obsessive. So I would just obsess over shit. I got to make this happen. How am I going to make this happen?
Yeah.
And maybe I'm going through a midlife crisis. I'm almost 40 and I don't know. I got a girlfriend now. We're talking about, settling down a little bit.
Oh, nice.
So, I don't know. I definitely, just going to be here and see where life takes me.
Perfect. And you got any final words?
Oh man, thank you.
Oh, yeah, you're welcome. All right, everybody. So this is Mike and Cyrus with the QuiverCast, and we're going to sign off. Have a good one. Thanks everybody for listening. Please follow us on Instagram and follow us on your favorite podcast platform. Give us 5 stars if you listen to us on Apple. And do me a favor and tell a friend that QuiverCast is back. And I'll see you on the lineup.
Don't you bore me.
Hey, you guys, Endless Summer box set. This thing is legit. It's authentic, numbered certificate in it. It has a 5-frame film strip from the original print. You will literally own a piece of history. It has a specially minted bronze medallion. Dude, that thing's sick. Okay, there's so much more here. Go to the show notes. There's a link on there. Go check this piece of history out. This thing's rad. Seriously. Smithsonian American History Museum has it. It took 4 years of research with 3.5 in production, all hand assembled. This thing's rad. So much to this awesome box set. Remastered DVD, sharper images than the original film, but dude, this thing's so sick. Link in the show notes.